despite what the president says, even the United States has limitations to our military power. And so do the Iranians. All the nations, we only have so much of all of our stuff. And so right now, the question is, does Iran have sufficient capability to attack or even to sink a U.S. destroyer? My opinion is probably yes, because it's not about the individual weapon systems. It's about the way that they're employed using Russian intelligence. So I'm not sure if that quite answered the question. But
it does. So it does. So essentially, the capability is there, and there's always a possibility of them using it. We don't think there is an incentive for them to use it, but maybe there is one we're not aware of. But I just don't see what it is. I'm trying to see what it could be, but I can't spot it.
So by the way, I completely agree with you. Because if they were to sink a destroyer, the outcry even from the average American would be outrage. And then the president would be even more reinforced to do more things. So the Iranians, in my opinion, cooler heads would say, nope, just let it go, because we're impacting the world economy because we're not agreeing to Trump's demands. Let's go back to the negotiating table and figure this out. To be able to get the amount of forces into the Middle East we would have to get, it would take us a year to do it. Maybe more than a year. All you have to do is look historically, plus understanding logistics. It takes a long time to get that many people. We're probably talking 250,000 military, and to do it alone, it's not happening. And by the way, every single day, because there is no additional funds being provided to the Department of Defense for this war. Remember, there is no money. So all this money is being taken out of the budget of the Defense Department that is normally used for training and readiness. So every day that this goes on, the readiness of the U.S. military continues to degrade and to drop because there's no more money coming in. The president has said he wants to triple the budget. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's Congress that does the appropriation. And so this is not a good situation. We are spending money on this war. The Defense Department is spending money on this war they do not have to conduct war.
Does that war upset you, General?
Does
this war upset you? Does the war upset you that we are even here?
Oh, it does upset me because I go back to what were the original objectives. And it was regime change. It was to diminish their ability to attack us. It's because there was an imminent attack against the United States. It was to deal with the nuclear issue, which we allegedly done 8 months ago. It really does bother me when American lives of our young men and women are being placed in harm's way for reasons that are not clear as part of our national security policy. In this particular case, I think that the reasons seem to be changing frequently in the first few weeks of the war. And so they're not clear to me. And I don't want to ever be faced with telling some parent or wife or husband or mom or dad that your son or daughter died for reasons that I don't know.
Yeah, and that's when it comes to American lives, but there's also Iranian lives, Lebanese lives, Israeli lives, and Gulf lives into this as well in the thousands. Is it really all worth it for such an objective?
I completely agree with you, and I do apologize to your listeners. While I was addressing as a military person, and my son was in the military, my father, my grandfather as well. Yes, I have a special place in my heart, but I want to make sure everyone understands. My heart goes out to everyone who has lost a loved one on all sides, to include those that are wounded. This is not right, and it bothers me immensely. So while I did comment about U.S. lives, it's all the lives.
I didn't mean to make it seem like you dismissed it. That was not my intention. So I apologize if it came out as such. At the same time, there's reports that Israel's ability to intercept Iranian missiles dropped drastically. Only 5% of the Iranian missiles were getting through in the beginning of the war, and that dropped to that increased to 27% of missiles, a 400% increase. And obviously, the cluster munitions play a big role in this. So is Israel do I know the Israeli voter has an appetite for this war more than any other voter, any other citizen anywhere in the world, in any other country. But do you think the Israeli military has the ability to sustain this? And do you think Israel is genuinely trying to drag the US into this war, as some others like Tucker Carlson and others are very vocal about?
So I am absolutely convinced professionally that the president did this war because of the Israeli prime minister asking him to do it. There was no threat to the United States whatsoever that I can determine through all of my readings and analysis and talking with senior people on active duty in the U.S. military. I see nothing. So that's number one. Number two, it pains me greatly what the Israelis have been doing of taking advantage of this, whether it's attacking Iran or attacking Lebanon. The idea of leveling houses and destroying the livelihoods of the average citizens that appear in southern Lebanon. This is not right. This is not right. I defend the Israelis' right to exist, but not to eradicate civilian populations around in other countries.
Where do you expect this to be in, let's say, in a few weeks' time, by next month, late next month?
So let's say in 30 days, I hope that cooler heads prevail in the United States predominantly. I hope that the Israelis end their attacks in Lebanon and elsewhere, and that I hope that in Iran that they also try to return to some degree of normalcy, to allow people to not be so heated in their emotions on all sides, and to allow, quite frankly, honest negotiations to occur where, quite frankly, in the end, no one gets exactly what they want, but everyone gets enough.